Wahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to Your Health is Your Wealth on Inspire 105.1 FM. And I'm your host, Sister Shigufta. Now, welcome to the topic today. It is safety first. I'm sure some of you already know this, which is about simple reminders to help us stay alert, aware, and safe when we're out and about. Now, the topic came to me because of something I witnessed recently, and it did stay with me. And I'm sure maybe some of you can relate to this as well, because sometimes we always hear about health a lot, diet and exercise, mental health, but my show is based on holistic health, so it incorporates everything to do with our health and well-being, and also that is in accordance with Islam, the Quran, Sunnah, and science as well. But safety is health, if you think about this. If we don't protect life, then how can anything else sort of, matter? Because life is the ultimate thing that should matter to us. So safety also comes into your well-being. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and do not throw yourselves into destruction with your own hands. So this show, I just want you to know, this is actually not about blame. This is about reminders. It's about awareness, responsibility, and prevention. And I'm so happy that you've tuned in, because not only will you help yourself and your family, but you can also spread this to other people, inshallah. And no doubt, I'm sure some of you already, are aware of the things I may mention, but we also know that there are people who may not be aware, and this is especially going out to you. Now, I want to say that today's show discusses safety risks and things to do with near-miss incidents and accidents. So some listeners may find this upsetting, so listener discretion is advised. So this is about awareness, responsibility, and prevention. So why safety needs talking about anyway? Now, let's be honest, most accidents don't happen because people are careless. They happen because people are rushing, maybe they're distracted or overwhelmed. And one of the key things or problems that I say are phones. These are the major things that that are causing a lot of problems. But phones, your children, stress, shopping bags, thoughts that are racing. These are the things that can cause accidents sometimes to happen. But this isn't just when you're driving a car. This could be when you're just walking, when we cross roads. We're not really looking. We walk ahead of children. This is something common, and assuming they're right behind us. Driving tired and just telling ourselves, oh, I'll be fine. And that is when things can sometimes go wrong. And in the UK, thousands of pedestrian and road accidents happen every year. And a lot of them can be described as preventable. And I just want to say that our Deen teaches us that we take care of ourselves and others. And when we can prevent something, we should do our best. So that when or if something happens, we know that there is qadr and the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but there is also a duty upon us to make sure and ensure that we are doing our best when we're doing things that require full attention, and be focused. That's when we need to think and be mindful and be aware. But this is so common that a lot of us, when we're doing things, we're not. We're just walking and doing things like we've always been doing with just habits.
Assalamu alaikum. In Luton and its surrounding areas, it is now time for Salatul Maghrib.
This azan has been sponsored by Ideal Properties. Contact us on 01582 72 11110 or log on to www.idealpropertiesltd.co.uk.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
Looking at the phone, or can I walk without it? The thing is, people are not used to it who are doing it, and every new thing seems like, oh, a new idea, I don't want to do that. But if you think about the reality, is it something you need to do? And the answer will be no. So if you don't need to do it, then why do it? And it's just a habit. You'll be able to ask yourself these questions and realize it's not necessary. And the other question is, ask yourself, have you ever driven when you're stressed or exhausted? Now, this show, what I'm trying to do is, I'm not scaring you. I'm actually trying to help you to slow you down, make you aware and realize, because maybe you haven't realized that, yes, you often drive stressed. Yes, you often drive when you're exhausted, and you don't realize it. But there's little things you can do to help you before you do those things. That's why this show is just a little reminder to, whether you're driving or walking, just try and think about and be more aware. And I will give you some statistics soon, in just a moment, actually. So let me tell you, pedestrians using phones are growing cause of road accidents in the UK, with 72% of drivers reporting seeing distracted walkers stepping into traffic. And studies have shown 1 in 5 secondary school pupils have been hit or nearly hit while using their phones. And I've nearly seen this happen as well, actually. And I'm sure many of you have too. And over 1,200 children are injured monthly within 500 meters of schools, highlighting a severe risk of young distracted pedestrians. But let me say something. This isn't just young school children it's happening to. It's actually adults as well, who are using their phone and crossing, assuming that it's safe. But assumption doesn't mean it is a fact. So this is, AA did this survey, and they found that 72% of drivers have witnessed pedestrians stepping into the road while distracted with their device, and nearly a third of secondary school pupils use their phones while they're actually crossing the roads. And children pedestrian injuries peak during school commuting hours, 8 and 9 a.m. and 3 and 7 p.m. because some of them are in college as well. And a lot of them is they're not talking. It's usually, they're looking at the phones or using headphones. So again, the hearing is impaired when you're using the phone with the headphones. And, this is high risk behavior. And it's also got cognitive load. Texting while walking, it basically reduces the spatial awareness, making pedestrians less likely to notice hazards. And the highest rates of distracted pedestrians were observed in London. That's 80%. So just something there for you. Now, there are campaigns like Look Up campaign. They're trying to urge pedestrians to stop and look up away from the phones. That's something as well. And stop and use. This is just something that people are trying to help users of mobile phones to be aware. I understand that this is probably, it sounds a little bit distressing, what I'm saying, but, it does need to be spoken about. It does have to be talked about, and change does need to happen. And if one person starts in their family, then that's a good thing, inshallah. And, it's not just me. I'm certain you see this even when you're walking. There are grown adults, they've got children with them walking, they're on their phones, and, a mum might be with a pram with other children, and, not really being able to keep an eye on what is happening on the road because people are on their phones and having near misses. I think that is why I'm doing this, because I've witnessed this, and it's actually becoming far more common. So subhanallah, near misses are good, that nothing happened, but the thing is, it's a reminder that a lot of tragedies can happen if things can go wrong. And I know some of you been maybe saying if is it hasn't happened, so don't worry. Well, the thing is, it's good if it hasn't happened, but prevention is also something part of Islam as well. Islam takes safety very seriously. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, each of you is a shepherd and each of you is responsible for your flock. So that means parents, carers, grandparents, older siblings, uncles, aunties, anyone who's responsible for a child. Yes, we are accountable. Subhanallah. And there is another powerful hadith: tie your camel, then put your trust in Allah. And Islam does not teach careless trust. Islam teaches us planning, responsibility, and tawakkul. Taking precautions is not lack of faith, it is wisdom. So some practical safety reminders. When walking, okay, this might be a huge ask, but I have to suggest it. But this is something for your safety, and if you're a parent, for your children, and number one, for yourself. Put the phone away. If you are expecting an emergency phone call or you are in danger, of course, just step aside. Don't walk and talk or look at the phone. Even be really careful. But if there is nothing urgent, no emergency, then put the phone away. And when you are about to cross, that way you are able to cross in a proper manner by looking and hearing if there is a car coming. And all this sounds very simple and basic, but the thing is, when there are so many preventable accidents, then this basic advice means that a reminder is required right now. Use crossings even if it takes longer. That's another thing. People try and skip pedestrian crossings or zebra crossings and things like that, because sometimes it's deemed as being a bit embarrassing. But there are children who say that, teenagers, things like that. There's nothing embarrassing about using crossings. In fact, it's the right thing to do. It would be really sad that if you do not use the right crossings and then you have a near miss, or you actually have a minor accident, or even something severe. So this is going back to basics, which is so important, is use the crossings that are there for you. Alhamdulillah, you know, we have these things, so we should use it. And, you know, make sure the children are right beside you or in front of you, and you're walking together, so they also understand road safety. With children, always hold their hands near the roads. Please don't ever think or assume that they do know or they know better, and use reins if you need to. There is absolutely no embarrassment. In fact, I did this with my children even up to the age of 3, and even 4 when it was an extremely busy area of, you know, if you're going to places like London or, you know, heavy traffic areas, then use it. This is, you know, this is a reminder. There is no embarrassment. You do what you need to do to keep your children safe. Safety is important, and don't assume children, you know better. And another thing, when you're driving, this is another thing that is quite common. People drive in a rush because they don't want to be late to work or an appointment or wherever they want to go. Don't drive when you're rushing. Don't drive when you're stressed or tired. And check around the car before moving, and slow down in residential areas, because these small actions can actually save lives. The other issue is that ensuring that before you drive, you check your car for anything like clutter and mess around where you're driving, especially near the pedals. And because if you have loose objects and things lying around, you know, may not be doing anything to you while your car is stationary or you've parked up. But when you're driving, and imagine one of the spare water bottles or whatever that may be in your car comes right under your pedal, and you need to brake, but you can't. Or, you know, you need to accelerate, you can't. Or, you know, you can't use your clutch to change your gear because there's something there, and you're on a busy road that you can't even go and stop the car and park. You know, we don't think of these things, but these are things that could happen and cause a lot of problems and could be very dangerous. So the minor thing you may think is minor, like a bit of, you know, you might have children in the car. It's not always easy to have it perfectly clean, we know that, but there is no perfection that, you know, that I'm suggesting, but just small little things. Just clear the floorway of your car, make sure there's nothing loose that can come under your pedals, or if you do a sharp brake, it gets thrown onto you, you know, and cause danger, you know, something dangerous to happen. So heavy objects, even light objects, they all matter, because when you have a sharp brake, it can come. So just think of these little things and put them away, put them in your boot. Just take 5 minutes out and just clear it out. And teach your children this as well. I'm not saying it's easy. I know it can be quite difficult, but repetition is a master habit. So keep repeating it, and inshallah, it will work out. So there's another important message that I also want to mention, is especially for the sisters and any woman, you know, the sisters who wear abayas, hijabs, or long loose clothing, loose hijab or flowing garments, or any woman who's, you know, got a flowing item of clothing. When you're about to drive, please ensure that they are not covering the pedals or your foot, so it's going to cause any problems, distracting you that you aren't able to use the pedals properly. Make sure you secure any loose fabrics, and make sure your hijab or scarf don't hang near the seat belts or cause problems, because there have been real accidents where clothing have become trapped under the pedal. And just to be mindful. And the other thing is that I've witnessed this so many times, that when the sisters have been driving, that their headscarves or their abaya or their loose clothing have been, they've closed their door and they're driving, but it's still loose outside of the door. And if that, some of them have been quite long, and if that gets caught on the tire, or another car even goes past it, it can, and it pulls on it, it can cause a lot of problems. So all I'm trying to say is that keep your long garments away from the pedals. Make sure it's safe, make sure it's secure. When you're walking, be careful when you're going, when you're crossing the road as well, when you're going towards the escalators and on the stairs and near curbs, because there have been accidents as well because of garments being too long, and then they're getting stuck in escalators and tripping over on stairs. So this is about being mindful and just aware. So just be careful. This is, a reminder, inshallah. As I've said, many accidents happen because people are on autopilot. People are walking without actually looking, and I don't mean that they can't see. They can see, but it's just not. They're absent-minded, driving without actually remembering the last few minutes crossing roads, because the mind is somewhere else. So it's not focused. We're not focused. Islam actually teaches presence, and you can ask yourself, am I rushing unnecessarily? Am I distracted? Yeah, am I modeling safe behavior for my children? Because children copy what they see, not what they're told. Usually that's what happens. So I would definitely give you some tips on mindfulness, because in Islam, mindfulness is also known as muraqabah. This involves intentional awareness of Allah, oneself, and the present moment to achieve spiritual, mental, and emotional peace. And some of the things that we are taught is developing khushu, this is focus in salah, reciting dhikr, remembrance to center the mind, reflecting on creation, tafakkur, and also practicing slow, intentional wudu, ablution, and cultivating gratitude. So during salah, you can be very mindful, which is what we're supposed to do, is focus on the meaning of the words and also the actions to clear distractions and connection with Allah. Dhikr, the remembrance of Allah, use tasbih, take a couple of minutes away to calm the mind, ground yourself in the present moment, especially when you're actually feeling distracted. Use the tasbih, use a counter, whatever it is, use your fingers, and this is in itself a great mindfulness practice. Wudu, ablution, awareness. Reflect on the blessing of each limb while actually you're washing, focusing on the sensory experience and the spiritual purification. So, thanking Allah for everything you've been given, subhanAllah. And contemplation, tafakkur, reflect on the creation of Allah in nature, to increase this appreciation, and also reducing stress. I'll give you some tips in just a moment. And also muhasabah, self-evaluation, monitor your thoughts and intentions and ensure that it does align back to Islam. And intentional eating, begin with Bismillah, end with gratitude. So you have focus on the food and the journey. And gratitude journaling, again, writing 3 blessings every day. This gives you a positive mindset and present mindset. What you can do is go for walks, go to a natural place. Everywhere you live, there will be no doubt some sort of greenery or some sort of park where you can go, or green space, or where there's trees where you can just go for a walk. If there isn't a park, just go for a deliberate walk with the intention. Take deep breaths and focus and feel the mercy of Allah. Listen actively, be present in conversations, and create space 5-10 minutes aside for self-reflection, meditation, and fix the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just remember, one moment of distraction can change a life forever. One moment of awareness can prevent tragedy. So remember the daily du'as. Please make sure you do that. You have been listening to Your Health is Your Wealth on Inspire 105.1 FM with me, Sister Shagufta. Today's message is simple: safety first, awareness always, and prevention over regret. So hold on to your children, slow down, be present. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Coming up next, Pitch Talk. This is Inspire FM.
Inspire FM.
My name is Saber Aden from Bound by Struggle. Bound by Struggle is more than just me. It's all of us. Everyone's carrying something. Be kind, be patient, and never forget, the strongest people are quite often the quietest fighters.
Visit Luton's biggest halal supermarket, the Grand Bazaar Supermarket on Lee Grave Road, for an unbeatable range of fresh halal meat, poultry, fish, fruits and vegetables from all around the world. And all under one roof. Plus everyday essentials, basic healthcare items and even medicine. Everything you need, all in one place. That's the Grand Bazaar Supermarket, Lee Grave Road, just next door to Shell, Luton's largest international supermarket. Open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and view online at grandbazaarluton.com.
Greystone Solicitors are committed to protecting your rights and fighting your corner to ensure you get the best possible results. Specialising in immigration matters, employment issues, family matters, personal injury, medical negligence, civil litigation and housing. Need help with your immigration problem? Greystone Solicitors provide free immigration drop-in clinics every Friday. Call Greystone Solicitors today on 01582 343 453 or visit us at 275 Dunstable Road, Luton, LU4 8BS, and begin your journey towards justice today.
वेस्टबोर्न फार्मेसी हफ्ते के 7 दिन सुबह 9 बजे से लेकर रात 9 बजे तक खुली रहती है। हमारी सर्विसेज में शामिल हैं ट्रैवल वैक्सीनेशंस, स्टॉप स्मोकिंग, डायबिटीज चेक, बच्चों की ग़िज़ा और बहुत कुछ। लुटन और डंस्टेबल में फ्री प्रिस्क्रिप्शन, पिकअप